The coronavirus disease 2019, also known as COVID-19, is a respiratory illness caused by the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 pathogen. First recorded incidences of this disease date back to early December of 2019 from Wuhan, China. Cases have since grown exponentially, leading to the WHO to officially declare it as a global pandemic in March of the following year. As of the recording of this video, total recorded cases have reached almost 40 million with around 1.1 million deaths. With these numbers continuing to rise day by day, questions regarding COVID vaccine development have become more and more pressing. Why is it that after all this time, we still see no signs of viable vaccines entering the market? To help answer this question, we must look at the stages of vaccine development in general. It all begins with the exploratory stage. This is where scientists identify natural or synthetic antigens that may help in disease prevention. It typically lasts around 2 to 4 years. Most COVID-19 vaccine development platforms are in this stage. Once specific antigens are identified, scientists move on to preclinical trials on rats and mice to observe their effects. This typically lasts around 1 to 2 years. Once the vaccine is shown to be safe in animal models, it then has to get approved by the FDA to undergo clinical trials on people. Clinical trials consist of 3 phases. During phase 1, small groups of very healthy people receive the trial vaccine to observe effects. In phase 2, the clinical study is expanded, and vaccines are given to people who have more features that are similar to those for whom the new vaccine is intended. In phase 3, the vaccine is given to thousands of people and tested for efficacy and safety. Clinical trials are usually the longest stage of vaccine development. Only after successfully completing clinical trials can a vaccine finally move on to steps involving mass production. Due to the urgent need of a COVID-19 vaccine, the vaccine development timeline has been shortened drastically. Some vaccine developers have even entered clinical trials and are choosing to run different phases simultaneously if some trials show overwhelmingly positive results. Not only is the creation of vaccines a lengthy process, it can also prove to be quite a diverse topic when it comes to the scientific methodologies that are employed to make vaccines. Researchers have a large selection of unique COVID-19 vaccine development platforms to choose from. A few of the most popular ones which we will look into include Inactivated Virus, RNA and DNA, and protein subunit. Inactivated viruses are grown in large quantities and killed, often by chemicals like formaldehyde or heat and radiation. The inactivated viruses do not cause disease but can still provoke an antibody response which prepares the body for the real infection. Notable developers of inactivated virus vaccines are Sinopharm and Sinovac, who are currently in phase 3 with promising preliminary results and antibody response. RNA vaccines are injected into the body to serve as genetic instructions that our cells use to make viral proteins. These viral proteins will trigger immune responses to eliminate the virus. Notably, a collaboration between companies like BioNTech, Fosun Pharma, and Pfizer are currently in the process in their phase 3 clinical trials. DNA vaccines function similar to RNA vaccines, and they are often delivered as a ring of DNA called plasmids. The injected DNA contains genetic instructions that our cells use to make viral proteins, which will elicit particular immune responses. Currently, pharmaceutical companies such as Catalent Healthcare and Inovio are progressing through their phase 3 clinical trials. For the protein subunit vaccine, viral proteins of SARS-CoV-2 are made outside of the body and injected. The genes which encode for the specific viral proteins are inserted into another organism for mass production. Unfortunately, protein subunit vaccines do not generate as strong of an immune response as whole virus vaccines, so a compound called adjuvant needs to be included to boost immune response. A developer with a vaccine in phase 3 is Novavax. On average, it takes more than 10 years for a vaccine to get from preclinical development to market registration. Though this process has been fast-tracked for COVID-19, rigorous evaluations are still needed to ensure that the vaccine is safe to use. As of today, even the companies that are spearheading the vaccine developments are still awaiting formal regulatory approval. Researchers from McGill University predict that a widespread COVID vaccine will not be available before fall of 2021. So until a viable vaccine comes to market, the best we can do is follow the WHO guidelines for physical distancing to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. For further information, please visit the official WHO website link in the description.